Hello, everybody. This is Patrick Young from Fresno. I am what's called a veteran political activist. I worked in respectively Mexico, Nicaragua, El Salvador. También he trabajado en Chiapas, Mexico. I work with places where the human rights violations taking place. So I'd like to make a comment on the leftists. I'm a former radical leftist, but not anymore. Do you know why? Because the disgusting racism on the left. The worst hypocrites I ever met are the Latina activists and white liberals. What happened to Black Lives Matter? Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! Shut the fuck up, you phonies. All they do is follow fashions. What happened? You're all silent now. What's your new cause? I got no words. I worked in Haiti for 4 years. Haiti is the poorest country in the hemisphere. Haitians literally dirt. They have clay that's called kaolin, like kaopectate. The Haitians eat dirt. That's where I work. Me and my good buddy Pierre Labose from Oakland, me and Pierre sent a bus through Long Beach, went from Long Beach to Kingston, Jamaica, and arrived in Haiti. We filled the bus with school supplies, motorcycles, and medical aid. So my question to all you big mouth leftist assholes is, what are you really doing, huh? Besides talking shit and saying, I'm living on stolen land. If it's stolen land, give it back, asshole. That's right, talking to you. Especially the dickweeds in Evergreen College. I have a good buddy named Rick Fellows. Rick is a very good man. He's a mechanic for Pastor for Peace. Rick's got great credentials. He's been to me and Rick did caravans to Honduras, Nicaragua, and also Chiapas, Mexico. They kicked Rick off of the media collective because they had to have a black female. Oh yeah, if you're black female, you're automatically qualified for anything, right? Because why? Because you're black and female? What does that mean? When I did the blockade at Diablo Canyon, the nuclear power plant, got arrested there twice. So did Jackson Brown. It was pretty cool, actually. But we had meetings. They're called a spokes council, where you collect all the data from that day. So I did the first two meetings. Was very well versed what was going on. So I went to third meeting. Stop! I don't want Patrick to go. I want a woman to go. Why is that? A woman who hasn't been to the meetings, doesn't know what's up, doesn't know what's currently going on. Why is woman necessarily better than a man? Explain that one, big mouth. If you believe in equality of the sexes, and you believe that both sexes should be treated equally. One time I was with a group of leftists at Woodward Park. It was hot as a motherfucker. So I had my shirt off. The woman says, put your shirt back on. I said, why? It's hot. If I can't have my shirt off, you can't have your shirt off. I said, take your shirt off. I'll support. Please come out, back your play. Ridiculous woman. Yo hablo español. When I worked with the groups, we had a protest about the massacre in Acteal, Mexico. That's in Chiapas. I went to the local Latino group, fuck you Latinx, ridiculous term. I went to the meeting and I said, I'm ready to work. I've been to Nicaragua 9 times, Salvador twice, Honduras. I've been to Guatemala 9 times, Honduras 9 veces, también El Salvador 2 veces, Belice, Costa Rica, Panamá, Cuba, la República Dominicana. También he visitado Perú 3 veces. I said, I'm ready to work, ladies. I'm ready to work, folks. And they said, a little white boy, KKK Nazi, by this stupid little girl, thought she was all Latinx. Didn't speak no Spanish, though. Do not talk shit to me about the Latin American culture and the suffering that takes place there. Let's see. I had dinner with Daniel Ellsberg of the Pentagon Papers, and also John Stockwell. John Stockwell was CIA in Angola. He wrote a great book called In Search of Enemies. I have some idea what I'm talking about. I visited 43 countries. I won't name them all. I lived in Germany for 2 years as a soldier. It was terrible. I've been to England, Belgium, France, Luxembourg, Holland, Romania, Bulgaria, Turkey, 2 years in Germany, then Poland, Belarus, Russia, Mongolia, China, Laos twice, Vietnam once, Cambodia 3 times, and the Philippines for 19 years. If the left wants to have any credibility, they need to put their money where their mouth is. Not like this woman in Minnesota, Ilhan Omar. I firmly support people coming to this country, but not when you come to steal. She's a disgrace. Not all Muslims are bad, but she's a very, very terrible example. She hurts her own people. I believe her and Governor Tim Walz have allowed $9 billion in welfare fraud. If you want to come, you're welcome, but contribute, please. Do not go on welfare like most fat, lazy Americans. Okay, I'll end this now because my phone's going on low bat, and so is my laptop. So sincerely, I wish you Merry Christmas, and for all you Black Lives Matter criminals, I'm glad your sorry ass are in jail. If you're not aware of it, the Black Lives Matter founders bought a $400,000 home in Topanga Canyon, California. That's where my buddy lives, Steve Kirkman. Steve worked with me in Nicaragua. I don't follow political fads. I work where the need is greatest. My mom always said, why do you go all over the world helping all these people you don't even know? I said, Mom, why don't you do something? My mom just worried about me. I put my life in danger. I'm usually not scared. Worst time was when I held at 4 o'clock in the morning in San Salvador at gunpoint by policemen, because I took pictures of I took slideshow of all the incredible poverty I saw in San Salvador. I wanted to take one guy's picture. I didn't realize he was taking a dump in a culvert, a little cutaway in the curb. So the last thing I thought I'd take a picture of was big spray paint. It said, Reagan y Duarte es hambre miseria, hambre y miseria. That means Reagan and President Duarte is just hunger and misery. I snapped the picture, and the snapshot with a flash was really loud, BAM! In darkness. About a second later, I looked to my side, and up come a guy, put a pistol in my face. He was a little slim Salvadoran with a black members-only jacket and a Playboy bunny inset wearing. So he said, you're in big trouble, white boy. Something like that. I mean, in Spanish. So I did my best to fake like I didn't speak Spanish. I said, oh, lo siento, señor. Yo no sé es contra la ley de tomar fotos en la noche. Por favor, perdóname. So he took my camera, my passport, and then he suddenly became nice. Just picked a box. Just two buddies walking down the street of San Salvador. We got to the corner. I said, ¿Puedo pagar para mi cámara? puedo pagar para mi cámara? And he said, está bien. ¿Cuántos tiene? I said, $100. He said, that's good. So I jammed up we were staying at I forget the name of the hotel. No one knew I left the room. So I literally jumped 7 stairs at a time. Bam, bam, way up. I took 2 flight stairs and about 4 steps. Got to the room, everybody was still asleep. I went to my billfold and I took 2 50s out. Went back to the corner. The reason I was exceptionally scared was because he said, he used the word desarrollar. Desarrollar means develop in Spanish. And the first few slides I had were from the Salvador Human Rights Commissions. Their walls, built bulletin boards, were littered with decapitated people, machetes across the face, no genitals. So I knew if they found my film, they would go back to the Salvador Human Rights Commission and kill everybody. To make a further point, the Salvador Human Rights Commission won the Robert F. Kennedy Award for human rights work, and they've had 7 chairpersons killed. If you take the job, it's a death sentence. That's no shit. They would, if you weren't home, they would go to your house and kill your brother or anybody that was there. So, moral of the story is, if you are sincere, put your money where your mouth is and stop talking shit like the Manchistas of Fresno State. They're anti-racist Latinos and Latinas, but they wouldn't allow white people in the group. Why is that? Just curious. Wink, wink. Thought you're against racism. I also worked with Andre Hesley. Andre Hesley was the first black female student body president of Fresno State College. I worked hard on her campaign. I was her vice president candidate. When I asked Andrea, why when I approached the table, you all just looked the other way and just are disrespecting me? I said, how do you? She was a black female, only dated a white man. She dated Ron Gall. Ron's a dickweed. When we had Daniel Ellsberg, he said, Daniel Ellsberg is a former CIA Marine Corps colonel and set strategic nuclear policy for John F. Kennedy. That boy knows what he's talking about. He's the one that exposed the Pentagon Papers. Nixon was going to have him killed. So me and Daniel Ellsberg have been in jail before. He's a good guy. So Ron Gall raises stupid I have nothing against communists as long as you're not dickweed. Ron raises a hand from his internationally known person of great credibility. Ron says, I have a question and I'll answer that. I was so fucking embarrassed. Miss Elbers were dickweed. So I'll end this by saying, if you're truly sincere about helping others, your mouth and your words don't mean jack shit. In the Bible, James 2:3 says, faith without works is dead. And I'm talking directly to you shit talking liberal leftists in California and all over the United States. And they exist everywhere, trust me. I've seen the same thing in Chiapas. There's a guy named Che. My name is Che. Oh, thank you, Che. Did you fight with Fidel? Puto. Che was, of course, and when I was in Chiapas, I had my bus with a bunch of spray paint, and we had a big march. The Indians, the local indigenous, we had 10,000 people walking the streets of Chiapas. And interesting enough, all the Indians wore scarves, and there was one guy with a ski mask and a U.S. Army military jacket. And as the owners of stores, farmacias and restaurantes, as they came out and said, please don't spray paint my buildings, my business, this guy started beating the crap out of somebody. The Indians do not do that. only people that are plants set up phonies, false flags, like 9/11. 9/11 was not done by a bunch of Arabs from Saudi Arabia. 9/11 was done by people who were there to make tremendous profits off the Iraq War. Who would that be? Wink, wink. General Dynamics, General Electric, Westinghouse, Boeing.